All right, so Animated Adventures updated last night. And in that update, they buffed one really old unit that hasn't really been used in a while, and that is Gon, which we'll be looking at the new stats today in the video. You can already see the increased damage, 8.9 thousand damage on placement. That is incredibly high. Now, a couple hours ago, they also buffed another unit, which is Luffy. They buffed this unit's damage and cooldown. So this unit is actually stronger than what it was in the video that I basically just uploaded on it. So we're going to be looking at the stat changes on that one also. But the main thing is Gon. This is a very old unit and one of only a few units that it isn't actually that hard to get unique on, or at least it's much easier than every other mythical in the game, because it's one of the very few mythics in the game that can be crafted from a legendary. You have like sell this unit, and then I think the only other one that I can think of right now is Aaron Founder, which is the big, like, heavy damage one down here. That's, like, really, really expensive to place. There might be one more that I'm forgetting of, but this is the main one that you can get in the game, that you can get legendaries of. I think you need, like, 10 Gon legendaries, and then you can make it into a mythical. And because legendaries only cost 1 reroll shard instead of 5, you're able to reroll 5 times as often on the legendary. Get unique on it, make it into a mythical, and you got yourself a mythical unique. It's not really worth doing anymore unless this one's really powerful now, mainly because the damage was quite low. Like even the unique damage wasn't even really worth using compared to the meta teams right now. But I want to see how much they buff this unit's damage by, because they can potentially make this unit somewhat worth using as a unique. I personally have Superior 3, mainly because I never went for the unique, obviously. But I will grab the stats for the unique based off of the damage I have on my unit. And I'm guessing the first unit we'll do in this video is going to be Gon. Look at that range, though. It's so short. It's going to get so much bigger, though, once I level it up. I'm pretty sure this is one of the highest ranged units in the game. And probably the tallest, too. I think that's safe to say. And there we go. Maxed out the money. So let's go ahead and start upgrading. So the first upgrade doubles the damage up to 19.7 thousand. Same cooldown and 1 more range. Then we have 28.7 thousand damage again. Same cooldown and 15.5 range on the second upgrade. Then we change the attack to end. 50,000 damage. Cooldown shoots up to 14.2 seconds and then 16.6 range. Let's go ahead and buy that one, which makes a bigger circle AoE, just so you know. 71.8 thousand damage on the next upgrade. 14.2 seconds on the cooldown, 17.6 range. Then the upgrade after that is 86.1 thousand damage, same cooldown yet again, and then 20.7 range. Let's go ahead and buy that for a big jump in the range. Then we have 98.7 thousand damage, 14.2 cooldown yet again, and then 25.9 range, so a very big jump in the range, which is nice. Then we have 107.7 thousand damage on the next upgrade, very good. Same cooldown, and then 29 range, so another big jump in the range. And then we have the triple question mark. 134.6 thousand damage. Cooldown doubles up to 28.5 seconds, one of the longest cooldowns in the game. And then 47.1 range, also one of the farthest ranges in the game. Let's go ahead and buy that, where it turns into a full AoE, and then just uses the power of the sun to nuke everything. I really like this unit, by the way. I like this unit a lot. I think the attack is really fun. But next upgrade after that, 161.5 thousand damage. Cooldown goes down to 23.7. It's a pretty big decrease, but it's still very high. And then 53.8 range. So there we go. And then that is the maximum stats on this unit. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think this unit's good at all. Even with the buff. Let's see. The DPS is 6.8 thousand DPS. That is incredibly low, because even the units in the new update that people are calling bad are averaging like 15,000 plus DPS. So this unit definitely still isn't worth using, but just for the fun of it, let's see what it is if it was unique. So we have the damage, and whenever you have unique on a unit, it buffs the damage by 300%. So all you gotta do to test the unique damage is take the damage of the unit and then plus 300. So the damage on unique would be 600 and let's say 40,000 damage. A little bit less than that, around that range, depending on your stat roll and all that. I have like mid stat potential, but I also have stronger 3 on it, so kind of balancing, I guess. But that is quite a bit of damage, 600,000. But to be entirely honest, that really isn't worth using because, for example, you can have like Escanor or Aizen dealing about that amount of damage, even without unique. Mainly because they both have much shorter cooldowns. Like, even Aizen's cooldown is half of this one. Even lower for mine, which has a really good cooldown. But overall, the buff is very good, especially if you already have the unique. So if you do already have the unique of Gon, congratulations. It's much more usable now, buffed by 100%, which I don't think I said. 100% stronger. Sorry if I didn't say that. But overall, not a bad buff whatsoever. I am quite happy with the stats on this unit. But let's go ahead. They did also buff Luffy, so let's go ahead and place down that unit. And let's see how strong it is now. I also have the old stats pulled up. So I'll compare the two. If you want to see all the attacks like in depth, then I have a video on that one. But we're just going to go through the damages. So 21.3 thousand damage. 6.4 cooldown and 20.1 range on the first upgrade. Then we have Kong Organ, 45.7 thousand damage, 7.3 cooldown, and then 21.1 range. So there we go. 53.3 thousand damage, 7.3 cooldown, and 23.2 range. And then the upgrade after that, we have 72.3 thousand damage, same cooldown, and 25.3 range. Then we have Kong Gatling, 99,000 damage, 7.3 cooldown, and 26.4 range. Then 106,000 damage on the next upgrade. Cooldown goes down to 6.9, nice. And then 28.5 range. Then the upgrade after that is 121.9 thousand damage, 6.9 cooldown, and 30.6 range. Then, for the next attack, we have King Kong Gun, the last attack change. Damage goes up to 144,000 damage, 6.9 cooldown, and 32.7 range. And then for the next attack, we have 166.2 thousand damage, 6.9 cooldown, and 34.8 range. Then, for the very, very last upgrade, 187,000 damage, 6.4 cooldown, and 36.9 range. That is the maximum stats on this unit, and also just for the easy comparison, let's go ahead and buff it by 10%. 205,000 damage on max with the 10% buff, which is 32.1 thousand DPS. And just for the comparison, here it is without any buffs whatsoever. This is just the pure unit with no trace or anything. 29.2 thousand DPS. So it is much better than what it was. For the perspective, before the buff, the maximum stats on this exact unit, I've changed nothing on this unit since I've gotten it. Old damage with the 10% buff was 198.1 thousand. So it did go up by around 2,000, and the cooldown went from 6.9 to 6.4 on the final upgrade. Range is the exact same, so that wasn't changed. But cooldown is much better, and the damage is much better. Definitely could be a higher buff, not gonna lie. That's not that big of a buff, but it's better than nothing, not gonna lie. The unit is 7,000 damage higher and 0.5 seconds faster, which is really good. But there are the two new buffed units inside the update. I do like it when they buff old units and also buff new units that weren't exactly added with good stats. But honestly, Luffy was good either way. He's just much better now, which is really nice. Can't really complain about a buff. Do have to say, though, I am kind of sad that Gon still isn't really worth using. The unique isn't bad. It's nice to have it as an extra unit, but it's still probably not worth using for super high damage rounds. You're better off just spamming a bunch of superior 3 units, to be honest. Especially if they're meta. But that is all we have for this video. If you have any units you think could be really good for than the buff, let me know down in the comments. I'm kind of curious what you think could be really nice as a buffed unit. I'm honestly kind of surprised they didn't go in and buff the Marineford units, but I'm pretty sure it's mainly because those units are just so bad that any buff they would do on that unit would have to be like several hundred times stronger. Because those units are just so bad from that update now. Mochi don't count though. That unit doesn't deal damage anyway. That's purely support.